What up, fam? All right, so I'm on this walk. Morning's getting a little warmer. This shirt really should say walk. If anyone can find like a Nike shirt that says walk, that'd be dope. Just I haven't really been running. I used to run. So, something that was on my mind this morning is a question I get asked a lot when I do workshops or talks or whatever, right? Is in the neurodiversity movement and like within the theory of neurodiversity, there's this idea that you don't need a medical diagnosis. So with the big neurodiversity community on social media, like different platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of stuff, YouTube, that there's a lot of folks who don't have an actual diagnosis, but they're saying, oh, well, this is me. I'm autistic, or I'm ADHD, or I'm dyslexic, or whatever. And a lot of practitioners, folks like me, have a lot of mixed feelings about that. And I have some mixed feelings about it too, but I feel that it's more good than bad. One of the concerns that I hear a lot is, well, aren't there going to be people who just lie and, who just try to say that they have these things? Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's probably like 5%, maybe less of folks. Like, it's not going to be a ton of folks. It's that same kind of mentality that we have in the US of we have to make voter ID laws, even though voter ID isn't a threat to our voting systems. And statistically, it's not found that voter fraud happens, right? Or we have to make all these rules so that people don't, take advantage of the welfare system or whatever system it is, right? But the reality is that fraud happens a very small percentage of time, right? So essentially you got like 90 to 85% of people have to suffer because 10 to 15% of the crap that's going on, right? So I kind of view that piece like this. The other thing is the neurodiversity theory, right? Like the three dimensions to the theory that I always talk about. The neurodiversity is biodiversity, the neurodiversity paradigm, which is no like cognitive profile is better than another one. They all have their specific strengths and weaknesses. They're good in certain situations. Had to stop, man. Something like bit my leg, had to scratch my leg with my foot. So when you have these three things, right, it's emphasizes strengths. The typical diagnosis model for this stuff does not emphasize strengths. It emphasizes weaknesses. It pathologizes, right? That's why it's the medical model. This is a deficit. We have to cure this. And only looking at it through that way has caused a lot of pain and a lot of obstacles for a lot of folks, a lot of inability to access certain spaces, right? There was the brother, the NBA star, I think his name's like Tony Snell or something like that. I could be messing that up. But the brother's autistic. He found that out because his son got diagnosed. This man never got diagnosed, right? A lot of us never got diagnosed. Here's the other thing too is a lot of the diagnostic criteria that's in the DSM-5, this is the big book of diagnoses, right? This is how we diagnose all this stuff. It has all the criteria in there. Most of that criteria is not normalized on diverse groups of folks. A lot of that criteria is normalized on middle-class white European men, right? So, or white US men too. So what we gotta think about when we're looking at this is, okay, well, who does it serve to say that I don't have a diagnosis, but I got this, I got ADHD, I am ADHD, I'm autistic, whatever it is, right? Well, there's not a lot you can do without a diagnosis. There's a lot of programs out here, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, like probably like 50% of them require a diagnosis, right? But when you understand what's going on with yourself, it helps you to treat yourself. It helps you to design routines. It helps you to design strategies and different coping mechanisms to learn about rejection sensitivity and all these things. So, I mean, it's okay. I think it's fine. I have a formal diagnosis for ADHD, but honestly, I didn't get it until 2020 because I knew that I needed it. I knew I was ADHD prior to that, but I needed it for school situations because I got caught in the spot. Okay, y'all, all right, look, here's the spot I got caught in. It was the final exam for, ooh, that sun is beautiful, look at that. Woo. It was the final exam for this advanced assessment course, right? We're learning the nuances behind how to create assessments, how to assess assessments, construct reliability, internal, external validity, alpha Cronbach, which is the coefficient reliability, all these different things, right? So part of this at the end of the exam was like 50 short answer questions, right? Question number 50, we had to write a 4-page literature critique of a study in APA format. I can write really well, but not in a room full of people click-clacking on their laptop, and there's a lot of pressure, and I got to read out loud to really hear things in my head because of my poor working memory, right? So I had to read directions over and over and over and over again when I write off a prompt, because I'll start writing and I forget, and I'm just writing about something else. So that's one of the weaknesses with my ADHD brain here, right? So I went through this. There was only 4 people who didn't finish. One of those people, the laptop broke, so it was like understandable. Other 3, I'm sure we were all neurodivergent, right? So because of this, I had to retake the exam. But I had to make this case for the fact that I needed accommodations. So what did I do? Went and got my diagnosis so that I could get accommodations so that I would never be put in that situation again. So that is the benefit of diagnosis. Ooh, it's one of those little spider webs floating around there. So anyway, don't discredit people just because they don't have an official diagnosis. I don't have an official diagnosis for dyslexia, but I have leverage because I'm a licensed clinician. I diagnose folks, right? So I know what it looks like. It's very clear, and dyslexia runs in my family. So anyway, that is why there is this thing where people in the neurodiversity movement don't always have a diagnosis. And that's why I think it's still a good thing and a bad thing, because that diagnosis gives us access to resources, but also we have a lot of things blocking us from that access to resources. But still, we need to understand ourselves. We need to create strategies and coping mechanisms. We need to dive into the cavities of our brain. The cavities, we got to fill the cavities. Oh man, I guess I didn't get as much sleep as I thought. All right, y'all, look, I'm gonna keep walking. The point is, it's okay if you don't have an official diagnosis. Still out here making it. You still got to figure out your strengths. You still got to put together those coping mechanisms. All right, keep walking.